What does Halliday Ballie specialise in?
We wanted to fill that space where there's a lot of very low-end, medium quality hardware in the market. We wanted to hit that space where it was really high-end. We wanted to be the kind of the Louis Vuitton or the Chanel of handles in a weird way.
So have you seen the industry in the last 25 years
Yes.
come a long way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are very proud about not being a trend kind of company. We
Yes.
want to do something that's quite classic. One of the things with dealing with the fabricator market is I've learned more and more and more about maintenance and how wholly important it is to wash your frames and your glass and your seals and your hardware if you're near the sole. You have to do it. Having control of manufacturing means that you can have that as a backup plan for yourself. Yeah. So it's a long-term relationship. I suppose it's like Louis Vuitton. You know, you go back and you can go back and put your bag
and get something
in there.
fixed.
Yeah, and they warrant it, and it's amazing. We get emails from people saying, I've used this in my house, I want to use it in my office now, I love it. That's why we wake up and do what we do. I love it. If you believe in Halliday Baillie or you believe in our Spec frames that you sell, for example, put it in your drawing, get it in there.
Welcome to another episode of Build Better. I'm your host, Chris Van Dijk, and today I'm with the director of Halliday Baillie, Tanya Rive. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you, Chris?
Good, thank you.
Good.
So for the listeners out there, could you talk to us a little bit about yourself and then how you started in the industry and what you do essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. I originally started with Halliday Baillie as a salesperson, and that was in the year 2000. Oh my God, it's 25 years now. We are actually 30 years old this year, which is really exciting. And always been a salesperson selling to architects and designers throughout different industries. But when I saw Halliday and Baillie were doing high-end things, I wanted to join their team, which was 25 years ago. Crazy.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. But also the fact that I'd been dealing with architects and with other products as well. I just wanted to stay with something where I was sort of selling to that high-end industry.
Yes.
So it was... When I first joined, we didn't actually manufacture any products at all. So that's sort of happened once I've been with them.
Okay.
And we imported FSB door handles from Germany and some concealed hinges from Germany as well.
Okay.
And at that time, we were sort of like struggling to try and find something that was really high quality to sort of go with those door handles. And that's kind of how Halliday and Baillie was born.
Okay.
As in manufacturing our own, designing and manufacturing our own things.
And what does Halliday Ballie specialise in?
We wanted to fill that space where there's a lot of very low-end, medium quality hardware in the market, and it's getting worse and worse because China just keeps on throwing out things.
Yep.
We wanted to hit that space where it was really high-end, you know. We wanted to be the kind of the Louis Vuitton or the Chanel of door handles in a weird way. We knew that we weren't going to be able to sell high volumes of it. We knew we were going to be boutique, but we felt that it was needed in the industry, like desperately needed. And so, here we are, 25 years later.
It's a long time.
It is.
So over the 25 years, there would have been a lot of trial and error of a particular products, a lot of work and R&D that had gone into them. Can you explain some of the things that Halliday Baillie has done over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus Halliday, my business partner, he is the creative in the team.
Yep.
We sort of bring back market information to him to sort of say, hey, we need this, or can we look at this? There's a lot of product out there, but it's not good enough. Could we, come up with our own?
Yes.
And he's extremely, extremely good at what he does. We haven't actually made that many mistakes. Like we've probably, when we do get to a design, we do prototypes and sort of play around with it before we do anything. And now you've got 3D printing, which we didn't have back then.
Yeah.
But we can actually, 3D print it and actually see how it's going to work, see any implications that there might be, and not go down too far
down the rabbit hole.
And spend too much money on things and find that we've made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk to me about that process. You said now that you've got 3D printers. Didn't have it back then. No. So what were we doing before?
Well, it's just if you look at Marcus, he still keeps his sketchbooks. He literally sketches it and starts, from there. And then we have Toolmakers that we go to, and look at lots of different things. Like there's all sorts of things that you're looking at, springs, you know, the material, the base material, all of those things, and obviously thinking about salt environments, movement. You know, when you've got a pop out, for example, you know, the spring that's in that. There's so many different things that go together to make something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he literally sketched.
He sketched
like
all
artist.
the designs, right? So now he's able to do his sketches and then print in 3D.
Yeah, with alongside the toolmaker, but then the 3D will be a prototype that we sign off on and or play around with and tweak and do whatever we need to do. Yeah.
So have you seen the industry in the last 25 years come a long way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are very proud about not being a trend kind of company. We want to do something that's quite classic. And it's a weird word to use because, you know, classic is classic, but something that doesn't date.
Yes.
So we're the ones that tend to, I'm not saying we are the only ones, but we are one of the ones that likes to pave the way rather than looking at what trends are now.
And then jumping on top.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not a fashion. It's something that needs to go into the bones of a house. Yeah. It needs to remain there and be there for 25 plus years. So there's plenty of product out there that is, you know, a little bit out there, but we want ours to be classic and remain in that house and still look as good as the building for years to come.
And functionality.
Absolutely. It's huge.
I mean, when you're dealing with architects for the first time, when they're coming in and they're doing these designs, how does that work for yourself and also the team at Halliday Baillie? What's the process involved in getting good hardware specified on projects?
It's getting harder, I think, because I think that high-end builder or high-end architect understands. Yep. Like they do realise that you'll admit this, Chris, as well. The consumer's very discerning. Like they can go online now and find anything that they want. They can. They do a lot of research around what they're doing for their houses. So if they're not getting a top architect and just cookie cutting something that the architect might have designed, they're sort of sitting down with the architect and saying, I want this, 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 and this, and can you do it for me?
Yes.
There's a whole lot more research out there for people to find things. AI, you know, that's a whole nother subject. It's another podcast.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, to be able to sit down with an architect, the architect appreciates that whatever they're putting in that building is high quality.
Yeah.
Because their building is, and the client is paying a lot of money to have that architect, have that fabricator, have the hardware, have all the high-end, you know, appliances, et cetera, et cetera. You know, hiring an interior designer, choosing good fabrics, all that sort of stuff. You know, it's very, very much an important part.
Well, we were talking before, the hardware actually sets the tone of the system, right?
Yeah.
And how important do you believe it is that, you know, when clients or architects are selecting window and door systems, that they're choosing that premium finish hardware?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, there's a few things because aesthetics, materials, where the project's being built, like is it really close to the salt environments? Those are all factors. But also the other side would be we are security as well, you know, the same as your joinery. It's secure, you know, it's keeping people safe. Yes. It's keeping people out. Yep. But it's also how you use your house daily, you know, locks, security, how important is it to you? But also finishes, like we are really big on finishes. If you're going to have aluminium frames and a certain powder coat, we would like to be able to offer that same hardware completely disappearing onto that frame. So even though people are trying to go narrower and narrower with their frames, if you had hardware that disappeared on it, you can have your normal, fabricator do your normal doors without having to spend all the money on the really low, really high end if you don't have that budget.
Well, I can say Halliday Baillie have got probably the market leader in finishes.
Oh, thank
and that's
you.
my personal and professional opinion.
That's
I'd have
great.
to say you've got the different powder coating colours. You've got the brass, you've got the bronze, you've got the black.
Yeah.
Where did this inspiration come from?
Well, it's actually interesting. I brought up the powder coating idea,
Okay.
and everyone was like, no, powder coating. But powder coat has come a long way. You know, the powder coat that we were used to when we were in the sort of 80s, 90s, 2000s even, it was plastic looking. It was shiny.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas the Duluxes and the Resines and all those beautiful powder coat, all those paint companies have worked really hard on very, very long-term warranties on some of these beautiful matte powder coats.
Yeah.
And I wanted to jump on board with that. And so we did. And now we had our first offering to the fabricator market was all electroplate, which is still very strong. But the powder coat, being able to put that on, powder coated frames, it just changed our business. Yeah.
So now you can match your colours have pretty much been able to match colours that are on the aluminium systems.
There's only one sticking point, and it's a little bit crazy, but and I don't want to throw Dulux under the bus, but maybe if they're listening. New Zealand powder coats and Australian powder coats through Dulux are different.
The codes are different, or the colours?
The colours.
Right.
Some crossover, but not all. And that is a real sticking point for us because we manufacture there. Obviously, that's where we electroplate. That's where we do all our powder coating. So we have had to buy powders and do all that stuff, and it's totally achievable. But it would be so nice if
so they don't match. So if you
like surf mist, for example, which is really popular. No, not available in New Zealand. It's an Australian colour.
Is there a reason why? Do you know?
We've talked to the Dulux rep, and they just said it just is.
Okay, I guess.
I suppose that's all they can say.
Yeah.
But and we even went down the track of saying, we understand eucalypt.
Yes.
Eucalyptus or whatever because it's an Australian plant. But do you have an equivalent in New Zealand, maybe called Manuka or something like that?
Yeah.
And no, there's no such thing. There's a slight change in the finish.
Right.
Yeah. It's a bit annoying.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Now, with the types of hardware that you guys provide,
yes.
So for those that don't know, what types of hardware does Halliday Baillie produce?
We do. We actually used to be kind of door hardware, but we now call ourselves architectural fittings because we do some wild and wonderful things in the architectural space. So not just door handles. We sort of look at a whole project, and especially when you're doing a high-end home, all the things that we saw when we were walking around or just being on site, seeing things, and also talking to our market, talking to our consumer, what wasn't available. And so we make for example, a blind box which goes right up into the ceiling so that your electric blinds can just fall down from the ceiling.
Okay.
And it's just an extrusion. It's actually aluminium again, but it's an extrusion which saves the builder from having to do that neck-breaking work of doing an MDF box up there to hold the actual all the mechanism of the blinds. So if you imagine if you're going right up into the ceiling, you just press your button, it's all electronic, and your blinds come down.
Okay. Yeah.
From nowhere.
Yeah.
So they sit up there.
And is that a new product that you guys offer?
It's new to Australia.
Yeah.
Yep. We've been manufacturing it in New Zealand, but we're now manufacturing it here in Australia, which we're very proud of. And we're doing a lot of other extrusion and for kitchen drawer fronts and things like that here.
And is there a lot of engineering that goes into the products at Halliday Baillie?
Yeah, well, the two extrusion products actually came from a architect in New Zealand originally. So we paid him a royalty for a few years, just like thank you.
Yeah.
He wanted something, and it was Marcus and him having a chat, and they drew something up, and he said, I want this and change this, and that product was born. And the extrusion for our drawer fronts as well for 18mm MDF. It just goes all the way along your drawer front, and we just sell it raw. It's all made in Australia now. So we're kind of crossing over to Australia with it now because we're really ensconced into this country. We believe in it, and employing Australians to make our product as well. And
Yes.
you know how strong you feel
Yes.
about Australian made. I support you 100%, and
Yeah.
we want to do more of that. So we want to cross over. So we do a little bit of both.
Yeah. I think it's important, like New Zealand and Australia, we're practically neighbours anyway, right? So, but that Australian manufacturing, that employing people here, putting money back into our economy also helps the nation, but also helps the industry that we're in, right?
Of course it does. Yeah.
And over the years, you would have seen yourself too, is how much things are being imported from overseas.
Yeah.
Whether it's to standard or to code, it's probably questionable.
Oh, it's very questionable.
But some of the things that you guys are doing to ensure that you're testing and you meet standards and designing hardware, can you just elaborate to us some of the lengths that you guys are going to ensure that your products conform to the Australian market?
Yeah. Well, the great thing, I suppose, is that we got our stripes by trying a lot of these finishes in harsh, New Zealand, conditions.
Yes.
Very salt environment, much smaller island than Australia.
Yep.
And all around the water, except for sort of right in the centre of the country. But so when we were actually trialling a lot of our products, it was a make or break type situation with redoing some of our satin chromes, for example, adding an extra layer at certain points, you know. So something might last 5 years and then you'd start to see a little bit of wear or something on it. And so it was go back to the drawing board and come up with something better. So those were the really cool things. So we earned our stripes here in New Zealand first, before coming here.
Okay.
And then realising that lock testing is really important. How many thousands of goes does that lock body go before it starts to show, tiredness?
Yes.
And what could we do to actually get it back to normal? And it's just a little bit of, WD-40, something like that.
Some maintenance, some care.
Yeah, a little bit of care and maintenance. And one of the things with dealing with the fabricator market is I've learned more and more and more about maintenance and how wholly important it is to wash your frames and your glass and your seals and your hardware if you're near the salt.
Yes.
You have to do it.
Of course.
It is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you come to your house, once every 6 months. You have to have someone go on there.
Yeah.
And otherwise your things will start to show signs of wear. Salt is the worst thing in the world.
I think maintenance is a big part.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't do anything about it.
No.
But then you get calls when it's too late.
Yeah.
And you can't bring it back then.
Yeah.
But if they maintain that product
Yeah.
During the life cycle, you get a lot longer use. Do you guys provide a maintenance and care documentation for your products, and is that readily available for people to be able to see?
Absolutely, yeah. We share that out as much as possible. It's not that we're negating the warranty or anything like that. It's just if you know that every once in a while you have to put fresh water on something that's out in the salt environment and give it a wash down, it's just going to give you an extra 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
On top of the 10 to 15 years. So it will be fine for the rest of its life. Yeah. Just look after it.
And with your products, how much warranty do you guys provide?
It's up to 5 years, but it really does come down to your maintenance schedule that. And the great thing about being a manufacturer is that and that's a great segue into not buying something from China. When it comes as set up in a box and it's a whole system, you cannot get parts for that.
Yes.
It's something that if you have to take that off that door, you have to throw the whole thing away and put a new one on. With us, if you have a flush pull that hasn't been maintained on the outside, you can buy another one.
Yes.
You don't have to buy the whole system. You can just buy a separate item, or you can buy a strike plate, or you can buy a spindle, or, and that's having control of manufacturing means that you can have that as a backup plan for yourself. Yeah. So it's a long-term relationship. And I suppose it's like Louis Vuitton.
It is.
You go back and you can go back and put
go
your
back
bag
and get
in
something
there.
fixed.
Yeah, and they warrant it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And that's how we feel.
And that's extremely important.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that also speaks volumes for the brand.
Yeah, 100%.
How important is that for yourself and the company to stand by your brand?
Yeah, 100%. Like we do silly things like, well, they're not silly to us. They mean something to us, but we have a 2 sign-off system. So when it actually comes in from our factory, the goods get checked before they go onto the shelf. They get signed off by the person picking it. That gets signed off again by another person. That's checking absolutely every part of that product when it goes out the doors, so that we feel confident if something does go to site and there's something missing, that we can, well, we don't argue with the builder, but we'll say, hey, we've got a 2 sign check here.
Yes.
But if there's a strike missing, no problem. Send it out.
Yeah.
You know, we give them the benefit of the doubt.
Well, that's a really good process that you've got. And I kind of feel that it humanises the experience as well, right? Yeah. And when did that sort of come into the business?
I probably instigated that around 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was more that I was actually packing a lot of the orders at that time, you know, and being a part of the system, and finding that builders would even, you know, doubt my work.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I'm not 100% perfect either.
Yes.
Human error comes into everything. So if I have a second person signing off, then they're checking my work as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, you know, no one's perfect.
No, they aren't.
Even the owner.
Yeah.
But it created such it made everyone feel really special about everything that went out. We literally have checked everything. We feel we own it, and we feel like we've actually done the job, and everyone's going to open it up, and the builder's not going to be really angry at you. There's nothing worse.
Some things take time to get, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing worse when you place an order, it doesn't come, and it takes another 3 or 4 weeks to get. But if you guys are doing that process, like you say, and doing that 2-step process, it just adds surety for the business and the brand.
Absolutely.
That what you're doing is correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some great relationships with builders, but I've got to say, quite honestly, that a lot of architects force the builder on us, you know, like that poor builder. I'm not saying force, that's probably not the right word, but sometimes the builder rings us up and he's like, oh, I have to order this stuff. The architect, you know, wants it. But they've never dealt with us before. And I get that, you know, like they've been told what they have to do. Yeah. But we want that process and that relationship to be really good. We want them to come back to us by themselves.
Yes.
It's really important that we bring those people together, and so that they're not feeling like they have to use us, they want to use us. Yes,
from the experience that you provide, right?
Yeah, and so that's everything. So we don't want it to get to site and not be, you know, something's missing. There's nothing worse. I can only imagine what it would be like to go to a door, put the hardware on, and the screws are missing. It's like his time's precious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And talking about the architects sending builders to you, how much time and effort has gone into the business model at Halliday Baillie to really promote the quality products that you produce to the architects and to get specified?
A lot. We've gone as far as sponsoring a huge awards program through a media company. So we get, you know, print, we get lots of online, you know, we need to be visual. Yes. It's very visual. Look, Chris, I think you'd agree with me, like just even social media. Like I had to learn all that. Like I'm not the social media. I'm not that dynamic or age group.
2 years ago, I wasn't even on social media, so I agree with you there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have had to learn fast, and there's a lot of young people out there that it's just part of their world. It's all they've ever known, and so it's really important to be, you know, front and center, thinking about, you know, being available to people. And I think, you know, media and things is going a little bit off to the right. Like people don't pick up a magazine and read it like they used to. Yep. It's very much about quick, fast, now what do I see? I see a video, I'm listening to a podcast. Yes. We want information fast when we're doing other things. Could be driving, could be going for a walk. Yep. Could be driving back to Melbourne like I'm going to do tomorrow. That kind of thing. People just don't have the time. Yeah.
And it's okay to be then promoting these products, but if you don't have a quality product, you're not going to get specified, right?
No, 100%.
So that must say volumes for the
Yeah.
work that yourself and the team are doing here at Halliday Baillie.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very similar to you. You know, you get a lot of repeat business because people trust you.
Yeah.
They trust in the process. You know, we get emails from people saying, I've used this in my house. I want to use it in my office now. I love it. You know, like they're the things that's why we wake up and do what we do.
Yeah.
I love it. It's I need to be able to go to sleep at night and feel like we've delivered and we haven't you know, let anyone down. And if we have let someone down, we fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear your passion, and I think you and I we get along quite well because we're both passionate for the industry, right?
100%.
Where does that passion come from for you, Tanya?
I think you know, coming from a salesperson and being offered a partnership with Marcus all those years back, I was able to put all my energy into something that I felt I could build. I would do that as a salesperson, like with my eyes closed. But to know that I could actually make a difference and we could equally take this business forward and think outside the square and do something a bit different other than just being an employee, you know. But I try to empower our employees to think outside the square as well, you know. And when I'm not available, I want them to be able to make the decision or call, you know, for themselves, because I've trained them to a point, but I trust them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yes.
We'll
hard
talk
sometimes.
But that comes with growth, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You can't be everywhere.
No, and I think it's very important that you can trust the people that you work with.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's who you need to rely on, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So with the architects in this space, give me a project that you're very proud of to have been a part of, that where the hardware for you made that project beautifully finished.
Oh, really good question. Probably one of my proudest ones, and it's a testament to the quality and the finishes, is Dovecote.
Okay.
And it's actually in Girragong in New South Wales.
Yep.
It is the most I get goosebumps talking about it. It's one of the most incredible projects, I think, because it was immediately when they came to me and said they wanted to do our hardware, I was a little bit worried, even though I backed myself, you know, because it's right up on the cliff top, right near the salt environment. And they were building a big main house, and this is all rentable housing as well. So this is Holiday House.
Yes.
And then they did a slightly smaller footprint one down below that, so you could see the house above, but no one could really see each other.
Yes.
And you can go onto Dovecote and you can actually hire the houses anytime you want. They can hire chefs for you, do all those kinds of things. But this is actually coming up 10 years now. Okay. And that hardware, I was so lucky. I got to actually go and stay up there. Yep. There was a little bit of a few little maintenance things, and they just wanted my advice about maybe replacing a few things. And that's because there were doorstops out, you know, right, getting that salt environment stuff, you know, outdoors, where it's not supposed to be outside, even though they're like, no, I like it so much, I'm going to put it out. But, you know, it was just a quick replacement, you know. He just said, I'd rather buy a doorstop every 5 years and get it new and have that look, which is lovely, so nice. But so I said I would love to come and stay up on the smaller property, and he said no money. I'm going to put you up there, and it was the most amazing experience. They had the floating fireplace, you know, up off the floor. But what was great for me is I could walk around every single door and see how it was operating, see what we needed to maybe. A little bit of WD-40, a few things. There was the track had dropped a little bit, so I was able to go back to the fabricator and say, look, you just need to lift that track a bit or do something because it's not hitting the strike. Yes. There's just a few things like that. But the most incredible thing for me was that the hardware just looked like the day it went on.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Must make you feel proud.
I wasn't expecting it quite to look that good, but here you go. It's maintenance. They have a maintenance crew that goes around once a month and washes the outside of that building to the inch of its life.
I think that's we were saying before. I think that's so important. A lot
Yeah.
of people just let maintenance go to the wayside
Yeah.
until it's too late, and it's so important.
Yeah.
Talk to me about a project that you've seen, and now I can hear that you through your passion and what you're talking about. I go away and I look at windows. Do you go away and look at the door hardware sometimes?
No, it's the first thing I do. I know it's funny because before I was in door hardware, I was in flooring.
Okay.
And so I look down on the floor first and then I look at the door handles, and it's just so funny. Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah. And, you know, it's quite distressing sometimes to watch some of these beautiful grand designs and things in Australia and New Zealand and see this very cheap and nasty looking hardware on these beautiful houses, and it's like, oh, why shouldn't they come to me?
Yeah. Well, like I was about to say,
I would have almost gifted it to them.
Talk to me about a project you've seen, and you don't have to name the project,
no.
but talk to me a project where you have seen an alternate supplier or product go in and just go, this product from us would have made that door 100 times better.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I don't get to see that as much as what you would think. But, you know, I do go and visit projects, and I obviously go into restaurants and stay in Airbnbs and places like that. And, it's just when you think about how much has been spent on the actual building itself, and you can even see they've gone, you know, the extra mile with their furnishings. They've obviously had a beautiful interior designer do the work. Maybe it was budgetary in the end. I don't know. But and sometimes maybe it's not that they've been offered it. So it's my job is to get us recognised out there, and everyone, you know, can at least have a look at us as an option. But there's just unfortunately, like FSB, for example, the German brand that we represent here, we've done that for 30 years.
Yep.
And they have been copied. And I can tell you that 105,000%, because they're 150 years old.
Yes.
So if there's another Chinese brand out there doing one of these levers, it's been copied.
Yeah.
And we know it.
How long did you say they've been around?
150 years old.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Still privately owned as well.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
And you just, like, for a company to be around for that long, I don't see the value in changing or making a cheaper alternative, because if they've been around for 105 years, it means they're doing something right.
Yeah, 100%. It's you know, we had something last year where someone copied us, and you know, I got a little bit angry at the time, and of course you do, but you get rid of that anger, and you actually realize it's actually the ultimate compliment.
It is.
Because they saw that your product was already in the market, it was doing extremely well. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's a compliment.
It is a compliment. I think it must be a testament to what you're doing is definitely right.
Yeah,
absolutely. And like I was saying before, the finishes and the style of hardware that you guys have brought out, there was nobody in the market doing it.
No, 100%. And and as I said to you, we sort of could have put something medium range and done lots of volume, not made as much. But we wanted to do something that was really elite, really nice. We care about all the finishes. We care about every single item that goes into it. And we know that we can, as I said to you before, go to sleep at night and feel like we're actually doing the right thing in our market.
Yep.
Instead of just, you know, something inferior.
You're better to do one thing really well than multiple things half.
Excellent. Exactly. I think we could put that across all of our life, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could. So talk to me, fabricators. We touched on it before. How important is the fabricator to the hardware supply?
Oh, it's really interesting. It's been my hardest road to go down, to be honest, because we have always done the interior doors and done that beautifully and handled that. And we made a sliding lock, which you buy all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you. We made that for that market, but no one necessarily understood that it was needed in that market.
Yep.
So there was a lot of very utilitarian, and I'm not knocking anyone else that's in the market. There's a lot of utilitarian hardware that have been used for so many years by these fabricators. But some of these old fabricators have retired, and their young people have come through, including you.
Yeah.
And they have a refreshing idea and thought process about design and what they're doing for the market. And all we needed was for that change. Like for many years, I used to go to the old boys and I used to get knocked back. And then all of a sudden I got this young wave of people coming through, forward thinking, and they got it. And then all of a sudden we were in this market that it just kept on growing.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of respect, and I backed it up with a lot of, support and training. And it's really important that we obviously back everything up so that they felt comfortable about seeing it, and actually, interestingly enough, the range of hardware that we offer to the fabricator market, we've just made a decision recently to only sell it to an authorised fabricator. That the product is really specialised. It needs proper CNCing. It needs a proper, if you don't even have a CNC, you need to know what you're doing.
That's right.
And so a builder buying it, it's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
The fabricator has to buy it for the builder.
Yes.
There's none of that, I can get it cheaper.
Is that because you found that the product wasn't being done its correct justice on job sites?
Yeah, correct.
Like you've sold it to the builder, builder's given it to a fabricator, and we know that there's a lot of, let's say...
less than perfect.
Less than perfect, less than perfect fabricators out there.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you can do it in an old copy router, so if you don't have a CNC, not a problem, but you do need to have a proper plate milled out and be able to use it correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the fabricator actually installing that product has to know what they're doing.
Oh, 100%.
Because there's a few moving parts.
Yeah.
And you can get it terribly wrong and break it if it's not done correctly.
Oh, 100%. Or it works on one side and not the other side, and all sorts of things like fitment. I think, like, just to go back just a tiny bit on product, is that because of our German, products that we started with, everything is so precise. And I think, Marcus and I have actually talked about this for years to come. We made our product so precise. We were quite dramatic in the way that we actually designed it. Probably a little bit too much. Like, it was so precise. As it's very easy to sort of stuff it up if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. So with that, that's why we sort of made that call about it must go through a fabricator. It must be someone that's authorised to be able to install it. And also, I actually did that because we want to protect you, the fabricator. We also don't think it's fair that a builder just throws product at a fabricator and says, you need to install this, and they don't know anything about us or the product. We wanted that relationship to be protected as well. Yeah,
I think it's very important because, like you and I both know, on big commercial projects, a lot of the time the builders are cutting the fabricators out from the hardware component and going direct to large hardware suppliers.
Don't agree with that.
And I kind of feel that you lose that personal touch.
I think there's a way you can do it. I still think there's a way that you can actually help and protect the industry without going direct. I think there are lots of different ways that you can do it. It's just a matter of making sure that everyone along the way gets something. So if you're going to go direct, like, just make sure that that the person that is going to be installing it, or the company that's going to be installing it, actually feels connected to the project. Otherwise, you don't get everything the correct way. That's how I see it.
And it can go terribly wrong.
Oh, totally. I've seen it happen so many times.
Talk about those times that you've seen happen.
Oh, it's
give me an experience without naming any names.
No, it's
talk about a project where you've seen your product installed and you just went, why is it done like that?
It happens all the time. Like you see the difference between a fabricator sort of putting some wrap over the top of handles before it goes to site, because dust and
protection tape.
It's not you. It's the poor builder having to, like, drill in the door. You're drilling in the doors around what they've built.
Yes.
Right? So there's going to be a whole lot of dust and crap going on when you're putting those doors in. And the hardware's there, so it needs to be protected. And we've just seen some terrible things, where there's literally just gouges out of the paint, and you probably go back and see all your doors that way as well.
Sometimes you see it happen and you just go, it's not possible, because it leaves your factory, you protect it, you send it to site, something has happened along the way. And like you said before, we're also humans, and if something happens on our end, we're the first to put our hands up and we'll replace it. But
within reason, Chris.
There is within reason, 100%.
Reason,
like there has to be a point where you go, well, that's a little bit too far now. That doesn't happen. You guys said Halliday Baillie have the 2-person check process. We also have that before it leaves our factory too.
Excellent.
So when it comes to what is the best part of your job when it comes to design and with architects?
Oh, it would be that actually one of the interesting things is when we get a relationship with an architect, and we've done a few projects with them, it even gets to the point now where the architect doesn't even send much through to us. They send the elevation of the product of the actual house, so we can actually see what it looks like. And they say, Tanya, could you actually, or Laura or Kat, could you actually choose a lever that you think would look really good in here? And then we start the process, and we may give them 2 or 3 designs that we think might fit with that thing. So they've not only appreciated the design and the product that we make, but they also know that we have a little bit of design ethos, I suppose. We do know what we're talking about. So they actually look to us and say, what lever do you think would go with that? It doesn't always stick, but at least we've started the process for them. And I suppose door hardware scheduling is a big thing of what our services as well. So it's very technical. So door by door, we'll go through the drawings, the plans, we'll do all that stuff, and from the outside in, inside out, so that everything, like that beautiful sliding lock that we do for you. We've got a timber version for a privacy sliding cavity. Looks exactly the same. It's just for timber. And it has a little emergency release rather than a key, for example. And I think that ethos of having that same visual look all the way through and the same finish is just music to an architect's ears. There's all these different metals, and you've got to do what's going to go with this and all that kind of stuff. So we try to take some of that hard work out of it. So
talk to me about sustainability and how important it is to you and the business.
We've actually we care about it a lot. We have a stewardship on our website that anyone can read, very much down to the amount of lead and different things that are used in some of the metals that we use. We do not actually manufacture, we don't have a factory that we manufacture from in New Zealand. We actually have craftspeople all around New Zealand that have their own, part of the mix of putting a product together. So we have our toolmaker, we have our die caster, we have our brass forger, plus. But what that means is those companies have taken on board their own responsibility for environmental issues that are around all of us, and New Zealand and the New Zealand government are really behind sort of doing better. And so some of these companies have done that by themselves, which in turn works for us because that's what we want as well. We've gone down to, vegetable dyes for our boxes, for example. We don't use normal dyes. It's like all recyclable. All of our packaging's recyclable. We do unfortunately still have to use a little bit of plastic because sometimes we've got a new vacuum packing machine for some of our brass, but we're trying to find an environmental bag that we can use. We're thinking about it all the time. It's really, really important. And also the fact that when you actually do buy Halliday Baillie, you're buying something long term. So again, I think that's better for the environment.
Of course.
It's not something that's going to last 2 years, 5 years. It's going to last lots longer. And so when you do invest, it might be a bit expensive at the start.
you don't have to think about it again.
It pays for itself in the long run, right?
Of course it does.
It's an investment.
Absolutely.
I think
like anything.
I think it's important that people need to understand that the hardware they're using on their windows and doors is not something that you should just put at the back of your mind. It should be really at the forefront.
Yeah.
How long is this going to last me?
Yeah.
If I'm paying $60 for this type of lock,
Yeah.
but I'm paying $200 for that, but I'm getting 7 to 10 years here and I'm only getting 2 here.
Yeah.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
It is.
You know,
It is.
Innovation.
Yeah.
Talk about the innovation that Halliday Baillie has gone through with their products.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we have things on our drawing board all the time. It's actually working out what we want to do next, which is a great problem to have. And sometimes our market determines that, you know. So, for example, we're very global. So we're in the US and we're all over the world. So depending on who has the most urgent need or a market that needs it, an OEM, a fabricator, depending on what that is, it needs to make sense, obviously, for the space.
Yes.
And you know, the R&D that goes into that, tool making, it's expensive. It's an expensive process. So obviously we want the product to have some legs so that we can actually pay off our tool as quickly as possible. In some cases we're doing work for an OEM, so they'll pay for the tool.
What's an OEM?
Oh, sorry. It's basically you're buying the product from us to sell to their market.
Okay.
So not so much putting it on the doors and windows that you do, but you're selling the actual product, the box in, box out type situation.
Okay.
So that's what we call an OEM. So they might manufacture timber doors to the whole market.
Yes.
But they want to sell a package of hardware to that market. That's what we call an OEM.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like an on-sell of an on-sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sustainability is a big thing.
It is.
And the innovation, is there anything you got in the works going on at the moment that you can talk about briefly, not too much about?
I know we have a few things in the mix. No, I can't really tell you.
Okay, that's all right. Well,
but secrets are fun.
It's good to hear that you've got a lot going on.
Yeah, but it is fun. And sometimes it's the tiniest things, like the next product that we're probably going to put out is actually for the US market, but it's going to go really well in Australia as well. And it's actually a play on something that we already do. So it is actually quite amazing that you can actually look back on something that you're already doing and actually make a slight change to it or add something to it, and then bang, you've got a brand new product that sort of makes sense. Yeah.
How long does it take to go from conception to market?
That's interesting, because we are that sort of small to medium business, and we are it. We don't have to worry about a factory over in China having to get you drawings, prototypes, all those kinds of things. That can take months, can take years even. We can probably turn something around if we're going really, if that's our whole focus, we can turn something around in a few months.
Wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And just to close out the podcast, what would be a takeaway that somebody could get from you and your experience on hardware and things like that from this episode?
Probably the thing for me would be, I think from an architect's point of view, and you might even agree with me because you would look at plans all the time, is detail.
Yeah.
A lot of plans, and I do get it, it's hard because it's a very technical thing when you're designing a house, but put as much detail into the drawings and plans and try to specify as much as possible too. If you believe in Halliday Baillie, or you believe in, our spec frames that you sell, for example, put it in your drawings. Get it in there.
Yeah.
So that there's no, I can imagine for an architect or a builder, it's the architect would just get bombarded by people saying, "Oh, can we do your frames? Can we do your frames? Can we do this?" If it's in there and you've actually got it in there, it's been committed, for the client. So they're going to get high quality hardware, high quality frames, and there's no, and you can still get 3 quotes. You can still go out there and get 3 quotes, but stick with your your preferred people. You've got builders that come back to CVD. You've got clients that come back to you. Same with us, like stick with the people that you love. They give you the quality, they give you the service. Bang, end of story.
Well, thank you very much, Tanya. I really appreciate it.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.